So in this video, I am going to be introducing you to the idea of a proposal. And a proposal, you are literally proposing something. So hopefully you are coming up with your own creative, original solution to a problem. So because of that, there has to be a problem that you can prove exists and is significant, and then a solution that addresses that problem in some way. So in this case, I have come up with an app that would go on phones, and I have called it Textbank. Alright, so the problem is the use of texting among young people is harming their ability to write grammatically correct prose. So I came up with this idea, this assumption that we have, that a reason that young people are unable to write better than they do is because of this problem of texting. So the first thing I had to do is go out and figure out, okay, is this really a real thing? Does it exist? So I went and did some research and found this source in a journal called New Media and Society, an article called Texting, Textspeak, and Tweens, and pulled this one quote from it. A survey was conducted to test the association between text message usage of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students and their scores on an offline age-appropriate grammar assessment test. Results show broad support for a general negative relationship between the use of text speak in text messages and scores on a grammar assessment. So basically it's just confirming a link that the students who most frequently used this, what they call text speak, used informal texting language, had the worst grammar scores, or correspondingly negative bad grammar scores. Okay, so I found that the problem does exist. I would, of course, have to prove that it's significant. I would have to prove that a lot of young people have bad grammar skills and talk about why that matters, how it could affect them later in life, not just in school. So then I come up with my solution. And as I said, my solution is Textbank, and it is an app that would go on a young person's phone, and it would presumably be installed by their parents. So with this Textbank app, it would be how the only way that they would be able to text and send text messages and receive text messages on their phone. And each account would start the month with 15 free texts. If you wrote a grammatically correct text, you would earn 2 more texts. So you would get more. So instead of 15, I would have 16 or 17 or 18. But if I wrote a grammatically incorrect text, it would cost me the cost of that text. And there would be a link to a grammar lesson on one issue from that incorrect text. If the user successfully completed an activity related to it, they would earn a text. They would basically earn back that text that they lost. And then at the end of the month, if you had bonus surplus texts left over, you could bank those, and they would count as tickets in prize drawings. So at the end of each month, however many texts that you had left over would count as like a raffle, and you would have, of course, the more bonus, the more text you had left over, the higher chance you would have of winning some kind of a prize. So there would be an incentive here. It wouldn't just be a penalty thing. There would be an incentive for reward for doing well. So, of course, this would have lots of problems. This suggestion would have lots of problems, but it is a creative solution to address this thing. And in my essay, my proposal, I would have to address how it would solve the problem of the students not being able to text well. I would have to address possible counter arguments, but it's my own idea. So that's the goal in a proposal, to come up with a problem to show that it is significant, that it exists and it is significant, and how a solution, a creative original solution, might address that problem.